The Amateur is set to release next week. At 6 o'clock across Regals in the United States, early screenings took place. Let's get right into Rami Malek and Lawrence Fishburne's new film and discuss whether or not you should see it when it opens next week. The whole plot of this movie, and it's based off the trailer, no spoilers here, focuses on a CIA agent, quote unquote. He's more of a technician that is seeking to revenge the death of his wife, who was murdered on a trip to London. In doing so, he begins to find out information and try to lead the CIA there to help find the people that killed her. What he soon finds out is there is a challenge within, and he must overcome every obstacle that is coming his way. And that is not just from the threats of the people he's chasing, but even his own department. Now, when you watch this film, during the 2 hours, you're really not going to feel lost, in a sense. The one thing I will give credit to is they do a good job of keeping the movie going. Each part of the film has a perspective and a reason why it is there. Now, one confusing aspect, even though I said it's still not as confusing as I thought it would be, was as the film picks up, you find yourself kind of wondering, how do the different dynamics fit into the plot? And I feel that one of the struggles that this movie does give you is that there are certain aspects where you feel a little lost in who these people are or what their role in the movie is. But that doesn't necessarily take away from what the film is bringing to the screen. You're going to get your mix of action. You're going to get your sadness from the events that take place. And you're even going to get a little bit of comedy. And what you really learn in this movie, and I think they do an excellent job, is that even in everyday life, if you are being trained to do one thing and you're not using the skills that you know how to do, if you can use those skills, you're going to survive one way or another. Now, as you sit back, I think a lot of the positives are really early on. The story makes sense. It's an intriguing storyline. You don't feel that it sways away from that storyline. I think you also have a lot of good character development. You're getting a lot of characters introduced. Some I've already mentioned, you feel a little lost about who they actually are. But the characters that are brought in with a purpose. And so, for example, somebody early on that ultimately plays a large role, you see how Charlie needs that one person. And so even though he's dealing with the loss and corruption and everything else that is taking place, you are getting his ability to find a way to survive and seek a way to find the revenge. Now, this is not a spoiler, but I will kind of point it out as like my biggest drawback of the film. And I'm not a fan of the way it ended. I think as you had so much buildup during the 2 hours of the movie, I feel like they missed what could have been a great way to end it. Now, the way it ultimately ends is symbolic. I will give it that. But I feel like as you're sitting there and you're watching the different threats and you're watching his ability to navigate Europe and his need to find these people that killed his wife, I just kind of felt like it was a letdown. My theater was packed in here tonight. There was pretty much sold out. And what I realized is when that part happened and you realized what was going to happen, there were some audible awe, like you wanted more. Now, that does not crush this movie by any way. I think the movie is done well. The acting is great. And overall, it is a good film. Now, let's get into an overall rating. If I had to give an overall rating for The Amateur, I'm really looking at about a 4 out of 5. Like I said, the ending is what kind of took it away from me a little bit. I feel that some of the different characters introduced did not have a point or have a perspective in the movie, and they just kind of showed back up to have a point made. I didn't think that was necessary. But I think the acting, the story, the methods that are used in the movie, I think this definitely makes it an enjoyable movie to watch. So For me, The Amateur is about a 4 out of 5, 4.1 out of 5. It is a movie that I highly recommend. So if you are looking for a movie next weekend, it comes out April 11th. If you are looking for a movie to go see for the weekend, this is a movie to go see. I have a review coming out in just a little bit as well. That's going to highlight something that if you're bringing kids to a theater, especially in a movie that's rated R, have some respect with it. But you will see that when I get that. But like I said, go see The Amateur. It is out next week. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Make sure to go check out the other reviews I have posted, and I will talk to you all later.